Hey everybody, welcome back. We've had a great summer. We took a little bit of time off. We kind of let the bees do the bees. We've kind of peeked in and checked on them here little by little. Um, but now we're going to be checking on these package bees. It is the last part of August right now. So August is the beginning of next year's beekeeping season. So this is basically the start of 2026 beekeeping right here. And what we want to do is make sure that these bees are healthy and strong going into winter so they can come out of winter nice and strong. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to go through, do a hive check. We're going to make sure that they're building up. So we've had the dearth. We're just starting to come out of the dearth, but there's some things blooming with very little rainfall. So the nectar concentration is maybe questionable there. And so we're going to look and see how they're doing on weight. We're going to do a varroa mite check and get ready to start prepping for winter. Let's get into it. I've got my smoker here. Knock on the front door. Let the ladies know that we're going to come check things out. I'll set that just to the side. A little bit of breeze there. And do the strap. Okay. Okay, there's a lot of bees upstairs. That's really good. So I'm going to set the lid there. Everybody's calm, so they are relaxed, and that's a pretty good indication that if the family's in order, then the queen is probably also in order. So we act like they've got a good, healthy queen because nobody is overly defensive. They're not really concerned that I'm here. These bees are so gentle. Lay that inner cover against there. And in the top here, we've got bees covering frames. Looks like we've got still a little bit of undrawn comb on the outside. I want to check. Let's see. Yeah, there's some weight to the hive. Not near enough for winter yet, but okay. Well, they're drawing wax on this frame. They've got it drawn on about half drawn on this side, half thickness. And they are putting some nectar in it, so that's good. They're putting nectar all the way out here to the outside of the top box. That is a good sign. And again, I haven't checked these package bees, so we're going to find out together how this hive is doing. We're going to look for the queen, or at least a good sign of brood, fresh brood. Okay, wow, this side is all nectar. It's uncapped. Wow, same as that side. So they are definitely starting to get into a flow of something. Very good. And like I said, this is the last part of August. And so we still have some time. Okay, this one is a frame that I checkerboarded to get them to draw the comb. So they have a little bit of it drawn, and it's actually what they've got drawn is mostly getting full. There's a little, just a tiny, there's like 10 cells of brood right here, capped brood. Again, another great sign. And for me, so really I want to find, I'd like to find the queen. I always like to just lay eyes on her just to make sure. Okay, good. There's starting to get into fully populated frames here. So I'm going to look for the queen on this last frame. I don't see her. Look on this side. She's going to be here somewhere close already because we've got fresh eggs on this frame. So we definitely have a good queen. There is patches of brood here. Actually, very good brood pattern, especially for coming out of the dearth. Through the dearth, the queens slow down and really try to, pull back the population of bees. They just don't need that many mouths to feed when there's not much food coming in. Look on this frame still in the hive. Don't see the queen. Ah, I do smell. I smell the hive, the fresh wax and the bee bread. Got a whiff of it there. That's a amazing smell. Yeah, there are eggs here, along with brood, even a few drone brood cells. So, boy, I tell you, they are doing very, very well. I'm very happy. Yep, lots of fresh eggs. So they are also working on growing the population. Wow, that's a whole frame of capped brood. That is excellent. Let's see, where you at, Mama? They do have some queen cups here that they're milling about, so I don't know if this one is polishing. I'm going to tear the side off of it to see whether she's cleaning it or feeding it, and she was just cleaning. It's empty. That's good. I really don't want them to swarm. If they swarm now, they're basically dead because they have the swarm leaves with no resources, and they basically have 2 months at best to establish a colony, draw comb, fill the family, fill the food stores for winter. I mean, it's a huge ask this late in the year, in August, let alone September. So, and these guys are super calm, just happy to see me. I mean, this is a really good brood. Whoops, that was bad. I'll put those back up there. So this is a really excellent frame of capped brood for this time of year. You can see they've got some nectar and some pollen dispersed amount, but it's almost entirely a frame of capped brood. So that is excellent. And these are going to start this time of year. They're going to start transitioning into fat bees, fat winter bees. So transitioning from bees that live 6 weeks towards bees that start living longer, and eventually the fully winterized fully winter bees are going to be, live for 3 months or so. Oh, and there is Mama. Okay. She's right here in the frame. She's right there. Great looking queen. And she is not concerned about me being here. She is working. So, super happy. That is awesome. Okay. So we got Mom. And so now, really want to kind of quarantine her so that I can go ahead and transition. I'm going to take this next frame then. Use it for my mite count. And yep, that is a frame of capped brood with lots of nectar. And this side is not fully drawn yet, but they're working on it. So, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shake these. And really, I need half a cup of bees. That's all I'm looking for. Okay. So I'm going to shake them, let the old bees take off. I've got my mite check wash tub here, half cup measuring cup, double checking for the queen, but I'm 99.9%. I just saw her there, but when they're in this tub, you can make sure you don't have the queen. I grab 1/2 cup of bees. That is nothing compared to the daily mortality rate. Okay, gonna get that started. So I've got to swirl this for 60 seconds or so, and what I like to do is kind of quickly dispatch the bees. I'm gonna set that down, and then I'm gonna go back and finish my inspection. The rest of these girls send back home. All right, so very, very pleased with everything that I've seen in here. They're going to have a population increase. They're getting a really good start on food stores, winter stores, and I basically just want to peek in this bottom box and see how much they're using the bottom box versus the top box, because in the summertime they like to work in the top, and then for winter they start in the bottom box. So they'll slowly start to migrate resources and everything down to the bottom box, but let's check out where they're at now. There's a hive beetle, which I like to harass them and kill them best I can without damaging the wax. Yep, on my hive tool, and that one's gone. So that's drawn comb, but it's open, or mostly drawn rather. So it looks like they have probably about 5 frames of bees down here. Yeah. So they're definitely starting to use it. This is drawn, it's been used all season, but it's largely open, which is good because obviously they're bringing in fresh nectar. And you can see in front of the hive here, they're working, they're all coming back. This is kind of late afternoon. They're coming back and working hard even here in the late afternoon. It's about 80 degrees today. It's an undrawn frame, so want to make sure that they get all that drawn out. We don't want to have any open space going into winter. There's some bee bread, good. Some pollen stores. That was the other thing I was looking for, because if they don't have pollen, they're not bringing in pollen, we need to supplement in order to raise the family. But they've got brood laid in that top box. I have seen bees coming in with pollen on their baskets. Yep, this is a frame, lots of pollen. Some brood, capped brood here, a couple of drones walking around, so all great things. This is perfect. Super happy. Okay. So I've got 2 frames here, that one and this one, which are less than drawn, or this one is completely undrawn. And what I'm going to do is move this undrawn frame. It's got wax where they've started playing with it, but it's plastic foundation, and so I want to make sure that I kind of give them a extra little incentive here. So I'm going to put this dead center here, right in the middle of where they're working. They're a little bit offset here in this box, so that's between basically full drawn frames. And then that one needs a little more drawn. Put that next to the one that's drawn yet. Basically, I'm just trying to, while they've got the resources coming in, we still have some hot days. Summer is not over by any means. So they do have an opportunity to draw wax, but they're going to be hesitant to draw wax because they're wanting to use those nectar resources to fill all the pantry up so before winter. And so really just kind of want to make sure that everything is mostly drawn or completely drawn if at all possible. Again, these are package bees. They started with nothing. So we're basically like 18 frames that they've drawn out this season. So That's really good. They've been really strong. You know from the previous videos, we've actually gone through a queen, an artificial swarm. So this is actually a new queen. This one didn't come with this package. They raised her. So all great things. And I have that queen in a different hive. So, okay. Let's see where we're at here on the mite count. Before I strap that hive together, I want to make sure I know what my mite count and if we're going to have to treat. And so earlier in the summer we checked them. They were very low on mite counts. And so the mite population has been growing all summer. This is a double deep hive, so they have plenty of bees and plenty of opportunity to grow mites for the season and pick them up. There's lots of hives in this area, not just mine. So, okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there's 17. So there's actually quite a few mites. So they do have a pretty strong population of mites, which is not what we want to see, but we're going to take care of that. That's why we're checking, because we want to know how strong the mite population is. So out of those, we're over like 5% mite count, which is, the threshold is really going to be in like the 1% range. We start getting concerned around 3, and at 5 we definitely have to treat. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're checking, and that's what we're gonna treat. Okay, I've got our mite treatment now, so we're gonna use Formic Pro, and this is an organic acid. The instructions come in the packet, has all the instructions. There's 2 options for treating with Formic Pro. Basically, there's a single dose treatment that is a 14-day 2-pad treatment, and then there's a option 2 is a single pad for 10 days, and you replace it after 10 days, so it's a 20-day treatment window. And basically, you kind of want to tailor that to the strength of the bees. You got to have a minimum of 6 frames of bees. And so, first and foremost, always follow the instructions. I've got nitrile gloves on. This is one of the times where I always wear gloves because you're dealing with an organic acid. You don't want to get that on your skin. You can wear a mask, respirator if you want to. Formic acid is not quite as aggressive. You just want to make sure that you're kind of upwind so you don't inhale it into your lungs because it's pretty pungent. And so what I'm going to do, always follow the instructions, but I'm going to tailor this for me personally. The way that I do it is if I only have a single brood box, I don't want to put a double pad in there because that strong outgassing, that initial outgassing spike can really cause some queen issues in weaker colonies. And so we're going to do the Randy Oliver method where we split this foil and actually use this foil to help slow down the extended release, that initial spike, and make it a more even extended release. And then because this is a double hive, so these pads, per the instructions, are going to go on top of the bottom brood box and staggered basically over top of the brood. And there will be some brood loss, and that's kind of expected because we're trying to kill the mites, and the mites are going to be inside of the capped brood as well. So there will be some dead bees, and that's perfectly normal, typically the first 1 to 3 days. But there's a couple things that we have to do. So we have to make sure that the bees have plenty of ventilation. So we need to remove any entrance reducers, mouse guard. So we're going to take that off because the bees have got to have access to fresh air. And if you have a screen bottom board, you do need to close that off because we also want to trap these vapors. And so I'm going to get back into the hive here, and we're going to pull this top box because we want to put the pads between the 2 boxes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is use my knife. I'm going to open the package here in a way that I can kind of split it. I'm going to cut the foil in half. So you'll see basically this is a foil wrapper, and then inside is this kind of soaked It's really basically cardboard. And there's 2 pads that are together with this paper wrap on the outside. You definitely need to leave the paper wrap in place. It acts as a wick to kind of control the release, okay? You can see there they just tear apart. I've got 2 pads, and I'll let the bees work their way away from these pads. And you'll see they'll run away from them here. Okay. Basically, you want them kind of spaced a couple inches apart, and we want it near the brood. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is take this foil and split it in half. Easier said than done, but basically we're going to use this to throttle and slow down the initial release, because when I take these pads out there, there's all this exposed surface area, and so they're very quickly outgassing. And you can see the bees have run away from them already. So what we're going to do is put this foil on them, and that's going to slow down the outgassing, kind of manage the outgassing, if you will, for the first day or 2 or 3, and that's the critical period. Okay. And put the lid back on. Put our hive tie to secure it. You can do this with honey supers on. Formic acid is approved with honey supers. We had some extra space in this hive, so I didn't have to worry about overcrowding too much. If you've got a really packed double deep hive and you've got a lot of resources coming in, they actually recommend that you put a super on top to have airspace for the bees to kind of separate, to kind of come away from the fumes. As they start fanning and managing, they'll blow those fumes around. But in this case, we had some open space, especially in the bottom box, and so we're gonna be set up just right there. So, all right, that's where we're at. There's our formic acid, Formic Pro treatment. And that's gonna be on there for 14 days. Leave the hive undisturbed for that period of time. Basically let the bees be bees. They're continuing to bring in resources and doing all the cool things that they're supposed to do. So other than the mite count, which we just addressed, this hive's doing really well. I do want to say too, that's exactly why we measure the mites, because this hive looks perfectly healthy. But with that mite load, they're having much lower success rate. I mean, with that high mite count, that's going to make the bees sick all winter. And so that colony collapse could occur in the wintertime or coming out of spring, get to those critical thresholds of virus buildup over the winter. And so that's why we check our mite counts. We want to know where we're at, know how strongly and aggressively we need to treat. We're going to do our treatment, and then we'll check our mite count again to make sure that we actually had the knockdown in mites, and we can actually have confidence going into winter that these bees are going to have the best opportunity to survive that we can possibly give them. Thank you all for watching. Have a blessed day. Hope your bees are healthy.